What's up, y'all? Shout out the new merch, man. It's here, it's here, it's here. Go ahead and go to thatman.store. That's thatman.store. And you can get the hand down, man down merchandise right now. Go ahead and click that, man. We appreciate y'all.
That's cool.
Welcome to another edition of the Mark Jackson Show on the Come and Talk to Me Network. I'm Mark Jackson. That is the dynamic one, my guy Bluu. We got a big time special guest today. First, let's pay some bills, Bluu.
I got you, Pops. Shouts out to Underdog. Go ahead and click the link in the description. They're matching the first time deposit of up to $1,000. Don't forget to use the promo code MARK. You'll also get a specialty pick. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, man. We appreciate y'all watching. Pops, handle this.
Impressive resume, absolute GOAT. Leeds Alabama's own, Auburn's own, 1984 draft class, which is, in my opinion, the greatest draft class of all time. 11-time NBA, All-NBA All-Star, 11-time All-NBA team, 1993 the MVP of the NBA. NBA's 50th and 75th anniversary team. My opinion, the GOAT power forward, the greatest power forward I ever played against in my 17-year career. And I played against anybody in the discussion for the GOAT power forward, period. And without a doubt, he's the GOAT TV sports personality of all time. He's the cornerstone of the best sports studio show in history, the NBA on TNT. My brother, the absolute legend, Charles Barkley.
Well, number
What's up,
one,
bro?
number one, I'm honored to be on your show. A couple things. You read that just like I wrote it, so I appreciate that. But hey, and I appreciate it. My biggest question is, you come up with the Mark Jackson show out of all the things in the world. Yeah, that's the most clever thing you could come up with, the Mark Jackson show.
Everything else was taken. Everything I tried to say was taken. So at the end of the day, that was all that was left. I own that at least.
Okay, I'll give you a hall pass then. Hey man, I'm honored to be on the show. You know how much respect I have for you. I love texting you, going back and forth. We've been through some great times together, man. You know, every now and then I get a chance to sit back and see how lucky and blessed we've been to play this stupid game as long as we played it. It's been incredible. You know, you grew up in the big city. I grew up in a small town of 2,000 people. So I look at my life, I'm like, wow, I got a chance to play, in my opinion, the greatest era of basketball. Not hating on these young guys. I wish them nothing but the best. But when you talk about Ewing, Magic, Bird, Karl Malone, you know, guys like that, you're like, these guys are all easy first ballot Hall of Famers. I mean, I tell people, man, you guys sleep on Patrick. You know, he just, none of us could get past Michael, but that man was great going back to college. And Mark, I forgot something. I would be remiss if I didn't say I was really, because I know how much he meant to you, Coach Carnesecca. I saw that happen the other day, and the first thing I think about when I think about St. John's is Lou Carnesecca. You know, it's kind of like Georgetown. You know, you think about John Thompson, Syracuse, you think about Jim Boeheim, and that's actually where my love of basketball started. Because, Auburn's not a basketball school, but man, when that Big East hit off, damn. See, your son, he's a young buck. He think there's always been an ESPN. I said, dude, ESPN started in the 80s. It ain't always been around. We didn't have it when we were in high school and things like that. I said, but man, every Monday night, we used to turn on, we used to get together like, hey, coach, we got to hurry up and practice. The Big East is coming on. And that is the greatest era of college basketball from a conference standpoint. Not many conferences have that many great teams, great players, and great coaches. And when you think about Carnesecca and John Thompson, man, and Jim Boeheim, you can't, Raleigh Massimino.
Right.
I mean, I was really close with Raleigh Massimino and Jay Wright, still close with Jay to this day. But you think about Seton Hall. I mean, think about it, man. The Big East. I think Seton Hall was in the Big East, right?
Yes, with PJ Carlissimo.
Yeah, PJ. I mean, man, that was must see TV every week, every weekend, and that's one of my first recollections of like, yo, man, this college basketball thing. Because when I got to Auburn, we couldn't draw flies. You know, it was crazy. We could not draw flies, and I actually consider one of my greatest accomplishments is getting Auburn to March Madness. Auburn had never been to March Madness, and we made it my junior year. But man, I give you and those guys a lot of credit. And you know, Mark, you know this. Patrick Ewing is the nicest guy you ever gonna meet. And man, we were all terrified the first time you got a chance to meet Patrick because you were going on that Hoya paranoia stuff. And we're like, yo, man, should we go say hello to this dude? And man, you talk about one of the great people I've ever been around, Patrick Ewing. But that Georgetown thing, man, that was so awesome. I mean, John Thompson, one of the greatest men I ever met. But man, but to get back to my original point, I'm sorry for your loss with Coach Connor Secker, but he lived a great life and he was a legend.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. He was an absolute legend, somebody I talked to quite frequently, tremendous impact on my life, and tough loss. But like you said, we're losing giants, and that's what makes it even tougher when you think about the impact that so many have had on our lives. Who is the guy that you look at that impacted you as a coach or a mentor in your life early on?
Well, there was a coach. I had two great coaches in high school. Coach Honeycutt, who coached at the junior high, but what he would do that really saved a lot of us kids. He lived like an hour away from my hometown, but he stayed around on the weekend just to keep the gym open so we'd have a place to go. And man, I didn't think about it at the time because, you know, some kids were going to jail, some of them were going to hell. And for this guy to take time for us kids and just like, hey, I got nothing to do on the weekend. I'm gonna keep the gym open. I'm not gonna worry about my family and things. Man, I'll never forget Coach Honeycutt. That man was amazing. And my high school coach was a guy named Billy Copeland, who was one of the greatest people I've ever been around. So man, I was lucky. Even though we had a few thousand people, sports were a really big deal in my hometown. And those were really the first two influential people in my basketball career.
You make a great point. Those people don't get enough credit. They absolutely don't get enough credit of the impact that they have, not just on us, but the entire community.
Yeah, you know, because Mark, I can't even imagine what it's like when you grew up. You know, I tell people, I didn't know it at the time, and I think I'm very lucky and blessed to grow up in a small town and you don't have all the distraction and all the noise around. I can't imagine what it's like growing up in a big city where you got all this craziness around you. Like, and then you got to have number one, you had a tremendous mom. I had a tremendous mom and grandmother who did everything in their power to keep me out of jail and out of trouble. But you have to have a great surrounding cast because, man, there's a lot of bad stuff out there, and to not get caught up in that, we and I say, hey, we survived and thrived. But man, to get out of some of those environments, because I always tell people, man, I don't believe there's a lot of bad kids. I think a lot of kids got bad parents, and then a lot of them are product of their environment. They don't know any better. They see so much stuff, and man, that's why I say, man, I don't judge other people because you don't know how they grew up.
Well, I want to say congratulations. Recently, we found out that Inside the NBA is going to be continuing. I heard that you found out similar to us.
Yeah, Blue. I'm not happy with that. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Not happy at all. I have not been happy with our administration for a long time. Number one, losing the NBA. That was brutal. You know, these are real people. I'm not worried about me, Kenny, Shaq, and Ernie. But man, I've been with these people 25 years. You know, they're married, they got kids, they got bills, they got mortgages, and they were gonna get fired. and I thought TNT handled it poorly. They never gave us update. We had to learn all the crap, read newspaper articles. They never said, "Hey, we might be in trouble with this NBA thing." Then we lose it. They never even told us we lost it. We had to find out on the internet that oh, it's gone. And then the thing with ABC, ESPN, and Mark knows, man, we're all friends. When I see Mark at games in the last few years, him and Van Gundy, who were fantastic, and Mike Breen, I just said hello to him. It was like visiting family members. We're all in the same entertainment business for the NBA. So I know all the guys at ESPN, and I'm looking forward to how the future turns out. But to not tell us, dude, I'm sitting at home, Blue, I'm sitting at home, minding my own damn business on the weekend. Hey, welcome to the ESPN family. I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn. I mean, and I'm being 100% serious now. Bob Myers, who's a friend, L. Duncan, who's amazing, Brian Windhorst, Scott Van Pelt. I get texts from ESPN people welcome me to the family. I'm like, damn, we've been traded. Well, at least you could tell me. I mean, so it was so frustrating. I'm like, man, y'all don't have no respect for what we have accomplished. Like, and like I said, I was because my biggest concern has always been how can I keep these people employed? That's always been my concern. I mean, I'm closer to the end than the beginning. I ain't worried about me. I've had a great run. But to learn some of this stuff out on the internet and from it pissed me off so bad. I'm not gonna lie.
But I tell you what, we can't just brush over that because the impact that you have made with taking care of the little man or the little woman, for lack of a better term, making sure as a franchise talent, I know you so, great humility, but as a franchise talent, you made sure that they were going to be taken care of before you as a franchise player. That is something that should be commended.
Well, Mark, you've been on television. You realize that the people actually on the people behind the scenes do all the hard work, and we just show up and talk what we said on the court. I give the people I work with a hard time, Blue, because me, Ken, and Shaq, we go on at 7 o'clock. We on from 7 to 2 in the morning. Me, Ken, and Shaq show up about 6:30, get in makeup and put on a suit and go on TV. I always kid with the crew. They're like, yeah, we've been here since noon. I'm like, what the hell did y'all do since noon? And they have to be there at noon. I'm like, well, I guess they're doing something. I don't know what the hell it is, but they've been there since noon. I know there's a guy, I can ask him any stat about basketball, and within 10 seconds, he can give me the answer in my ear to make me look I'm smart on television. So Mark knows it, man. The people behind the scenes, they are amazing. They're hard working. I consider them friends and family. You know, like when I started turning 25 years ago, you meet people. Then they bring their kids in. Like I just had a baby, and then they're like weeks old or a couple months. Then the next time you see them, it's like they going to the prom because they love to bring their family and friends out to hang with us before they go to the prom. And then the next time you see them, they're graduating from college. So if you know somebody from the day they were born, high school, prom, to college, like you got at least their mom and dad who you work with, you consider them family. So man, that was really my only concern. And I got to say something too. And I was stupid. I'm not gonna lie because you kind of, Mark, and I don't know if you can feel like we've never lived a normal life. Like we've never had to worry about putting food on the table and things like that. I never had to worry about a mortgage. And it was kind of, I felt bad for myself being so stupid. Like, man, these people are talking to me about, man, I'm going to get fired next year. I got a wife, I got a kid, I got a mortgage. And I was kind of like, oh, And that's stuff that I've never honestly had to think about in my life, Blue, to be honest with you. And your dad probably in the same boat. We ain't never have to worry about our bills like a normal person. And I say that because we've been so lucky and blessed to do what we get to do. But I was sitting there in we were out drinking a couple times, and guys were like opening up to me about, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was like, man, I'm such a loser. I didn't even, I've lost so much perspective. Like, I need to do a better job of like, man, there's some people out here with some real problems. And I don't need to be complaining about little stuff. I learned a lot during this process. Dude, don't have your complaining about, hey, my cable's not working. I had a flat tire, and stuff that is stupid that we go crazy over. And then you got people who you really like and love, and they're like talking about mortgages and things like that. So I've learned a lot in the last year.
One thing you touched on, which means a lot to me, and we know about it because I knew your mom and your grandma, and you talked about my mom, the impact and the influence of a strong woman in our lives and how they raised us, loved on us, held us accountable, but supported us and through thick and thin. Talk about your relationship with your mom and your grandmother.
Well, the time I had to apologize to you for cursing out your mom, and I
No,
apologize for that.
time out. I got to tell a story. Time out. I was gonna let you learn that. Look, we're playing the Sixers in the Garden, and Charles gets into it. My mom is the loudest person in every arena she ever been in. Every gym she's ever been in, she's the loudest. But Charles is cussing out this lady. I have no clue. So after the game, somebody tells Charles, "Do you know who that was?" He's like, "No, I don't care. The lady just running her mouth. It was my mom." So I go in the court. Charles is hugging my mom. They're laughing about it. Go ahead, you tell the story
Hey,
now.
and listen, and I'm still mad. I'm not gonna lie about it. That's the only time that I got swept in my NBA career. That's the only time the Knicks beat us 3-zip, and there was three buzzer beaters. But that's because I used to always say, man, I ain't never gonna get swept, and I never got swept in a 7-game series. But the only time I ever got swept is by the Knicks, and then them fools were going up and down the court with a broom. I was so pissed off, Blue. I was so damn hot. I really was. Because they had the broom in Philly too, which really made it even worse. And I'm yelling at her, and then we going back and forth. Then they're like, "Oh my god!" And she's the sweetest lady, but when you're getting your butt kicked and you got emotions get high, but man, she was such a wonderful lady, and
Thank you.
man, I'm telling you, man, my grandmother and my mother. Two of my brothers have passed away. One of my brothers is still alive. My grandmother she worked at the butcher factory, and my mom was a maid. And I never even realized we were poor because we were never hungry. And they did everything in their power to keep us out of trouble. And man, they just did the best they could. I never felt poor. My mom, I tell you how great my mom was and my grandma. They pooled all their money together to get me a pair of good shoes to play basketball, but I could only wear them during the game. They would bring my shoes to the game, and then they would knock on the door after the game to take the shoes. Because I couldn't, the shoes had to last. We didn't have any money. My shoes had to last me the whole season. And that's how amazing they were. They pooled all their money together and got me some great basketball shoes. But they bought them to the game, and they came and got them right after the game. Once the season was over, I could wear them, but they had those pair had to last me the entire season. But my grandmother, man, she was amazing, and I'm so lucky and blessed. They both rest in peace, and I think I made them proud. I tell all kids this: all you want to really do in life is make your parents proud. That doesn't mean you're gonna be rich. That doesn't mean you're gonna be famous. But if you're a trash man, be the best trash man and a good son. If you're a secretary, be the best secretary and be the best daughter possible. I think all kids, and I can't speak for Mark, but my daughter is a great person. You know, in the beginning, I struggled in the beginning with her because she went to Villanova and Columbia. She's a great person. She's a great mom. Man, being a grandpa is the greatest thing in the world. But I'll tell you, I had to take some medication for depression, Blue. Excuse me, because my daughter had a great body. She was 6 feet tall when she was like 3. And I was like, I'm gonna have the best female basketball player in the world. I'm like, we gonna kick some. I'm
Mm.
like, can you speed up the process? I'm gonna teach you all the post moves. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have the best female. I'm not lying. I'm so excited. I said, this woman got a great body. She's 6 feet tall and she's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then she started becoming a teenager, and you got to walk that slippery slope. You want to play basketball? Yeah, Dad, I'll try it. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. And I had to play basketball, soccer, uh, volleyball, soccer, basketball. And then one day I said, hey, Christiana, can I ask you a question? I said, do you like sports? She says, Dad, I hate sports. So I couldn't cry in front of her. So I just gave her a hug and say, baby, I love you no matter what. Hey, you're a good person. You're making great straight A's. I love you. I'm proud of you. And then when she walked out of the room, I just started crying like, damn. I like, damn. You know, and but man, she is such a wonderful person. But it was traumatic because I was like, because I spent our whole childhood thinking jump hooks. I said, I'm gonna hook her up with Kevin McHale. He gonna teach her the up and under all these, like, this gonna be great. She gonna be killing these college girls. And then she like, Dad, I don't like sports. I'm like, wow, just shoot me. Just go ahead and take me away right now, big fella. But you know what? It was a learn. Like it's. She's a great person. She's a great mom. My 2 grandkids, man, Henry and Charlie, they are incredible. Clark Kellogg and Ernie Johnson are 2 great friends and mentors. And they're like, dude, being a grandpa is going to change your life. Mark, we've done a lot of stuff in our lives, so it takes a lot to get us excited. I mean, I tell people, like, yo, man, I've been so lucky and blessed. Not a lot excite me, Blue. And I was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be cool. They're like, no, you don't understand. Man, them 2 dudes were 100% correct. It is the most amazing thing when that little man calls me to FaceTime me, and when that little girl calls me, my nickname is Big Pop, my heart just races. But when my daughter says, Dad, are you busy? I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything. And I see her FaceTiming me, and it's that little man, Henry. And he's like, Big Pop, where are you at? I was like, well, I'm at work. I'm in Atlanta. I got to work. He says, well, you need to hurry back home because, Mark, we developed this little tradition where I take him out on my golf cart every day after school, and we just drive around for about 30 minutes, just asking about his day. And he's like, we're going to do this every day, right? I says, well, if you want to do it every day, not like I have a choice. I'm not going to tell you no. But, man, being a grandpa, it's just the most surreal, amazing thing in my life.
Yeah, you bring up a great point because Blue made me a grandfather for the first time a little over a year ago with young Noah. So
Uh,
you bowling down my alley. I'm well aware of what you're talking about right now.
Man, wait till when they start talking to you and everything. Like every time he says Big Pop, I love you. Man, my heart just flutters. And I see the videos where the kids run to their grandparents. when they come to visit, he just runs to me and jumps in my lap, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a great. And like I say, I'm so lucky and blessed because, Mark, I'm over 60, and I've had an incredible life. Every day for me now is gravy. Because I always tell people it's only sad when young people die. I've been there for 60 years. If I haven't had any good stuff happen to me or whatever, I wasted. Like Muhammad Ali had a great line. He said, if you're the same person at 50 you were at 30, you wasted 20 years of your life. Man, when I was growing up in the projects in Leeds,
Time out, Chuck.
Alabama, yes.
It's 40 and 20. It ain't 50 and 20.
No, no, no. I said if you're the same person at 50 you were at 30,
Now,
that's
you
20
said
years.
20, though.
That's 30 and 50 is 20, fool.
No, you said if you're the same person that you are at 50 that you was at 20, you wasted 20 years of your life.
Well, I
No, I
meant,
think he said
you
30.
know what the hell I meant. Hey, not what I said. You know what I meant.
I got you.
Yeah.
And by the way, those are nice glasses, man. I like those glasses. Forget
Hey,
about what
man,
they say on
stop it.
TNT.
Stop it. Stop it. You and Jalen better get off my glasses. Hey, man, I'm trying to see, brother.
I'm right with you.
Hey, man, you know what is so weird? I can't see 3 inches in front of me looking at a menu. I can see 3 blocks down the street, the name on a building. Getting old Getting old is so interesting and sad and fun. It like because you got all these emotions. Like number one, I'm glad to get old, but then you can't see anything and you can't hear half the time. Every body part hurts. I already got 2 hips. I need 2 knees and 2 shoulders, but I don't care. I got the unbelievable luxury of growing up to be Charles Barkley. People said, you ever worry about? I said, dude, you don't understand. I built my mom and grandmother a house. I sent all my nieces to college. I sent my daughter to two of the best colleges in the world, and she's amazing. I've been all over the world. I says, man, I'm the lucky one. I ain't worried about no bad knees or no bad shoulders. I says, dude, most people, and I don't mean this in a wrong way, most people have to get real jobs. I says, jocks, we're the luckiest people in the world. I tell people, I says, yo, man, if you play a professional sport, no matter what it is, you're one of the luckiest people in the world. This is such a lucky blessing. It's like hitting a lottery, especially Mark, me and you who played. If you play double digit years in the pros, you're one of the luckiest people on the planet because the average pro sports career is only like 3 years. But if you're good enough to play double digit years, you're the luckiest person in the world.
You're a 5'10 junior. Did you ever believe that you'd be in the Hall of Fame and one of the all-time greats? You're a 5'10
Mark, it,
junior in high school.
Mark, it was so weird. It was so weird. Like I was a backup point guard. I was a short, chubby backup point guard. And when I get back to school, they're like, yo, man, how tall are you? I'm like, because people ask me, I didn't feel any body parts hurting or anything like that. But when I got back to school, I was like 6'3". By end of the season, I was like 6'4", 6'5". And then at this point, I'm still not thinking about, I'm only thinking about college. And I don't even think I'm that good of a player. I'm not going to lie. That's why I went to Auburn because I was really close to my mother and grandmother. I was going to stay in the state. Well, there was UAB, Birmingham, which is probably 30 minutes from my hometown, or Alabama, which is a little over an hour away. Auburn's 2 hours away. So I go visit Auburn, and Auburn's lost like 12, 13 games in a row. So I'm down there sitting with the coaches on my official visit, and I said, hey, you got a pen on you? He says, oh. You think you're going to be a great player. You're signing autographs. I said, nope. I'm signing a scholarship. If I can't play with these damn bombs, I should, hey, I said, there's some bombs out here. I said, man, if I can't play here, I can't play anywhere. And Mark, it turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made because, kids are so stupid. I says, yo, man, look who's on the roster before you pick your college. I said, because if, first of all, that's going to be the first time you're away from home. And if you go to a college where you're not going to get to play, number one, your basketball's going to suck, but school's going to suck also. Pick a college where you can get to play. Like this thing now they got with the transfer portal. Well, I said, wait a minute, man. Did you know they had an All-American quarterback who was like a freshman or a sophomore before you decided to go there? You didn't look. Go to college. I said, because listen, don't give me the education thing. Because any kid who wants an education can get an education. But the number one thing you want as a player is playing time. Because if you go to college and don't get to play, college is going to be the worst experience for you. Plain and simple.
Charles, can we talk a little bit about today's game? I want to know.
Yeah, not see, Blue. Now you're gonna have to mess up my whole day. All right. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood, and there you go. It's interesting, Blue. I was on Dan Patrick's show recently. He asked me a great question. He says, "Because our ratings are down. Uh, we've been up, but they're down now." And he asked me a great question. He says, "It's because it's just become a 3-point shooting contest or load management?" I said, Dan, that's a great question. I says, and they're both issues, in my opinion. Fans are not just going to go out there and see a bunch of guys jack up threes every night. Guys don't even shoot layups anymore. They don't shoot any mid range. It's like, we're just going to shoot a bunch of threes. And if we make them, we win. If we miss them, we're going to lose. I said, well, there's no strategy involved. Yeah, it's great if you're going to make them all. I don't need any strategy to make all my damn shots. But I think the load management thing is going to become the biggest problem because, with this new TV deal, Blue, I think we got 5 or 6 players making $60 million. And bless them. Bless them. I don't hate on the young guys for making that money. But when this new TV deal kicks in, it's going to be like, it's almost triple what it is right now. It is triple if I'm adding my numbers up, right? It is almost triple. Because 1.2, 1.2, 2.5, 2.5, 2. Oh, it's almost 5 times. So we're going to have guys making 70, 80, 90, $100 million in the next 3 or 4 years. And when one of those guys who's making $95 million saying, I can't play basketball 2 days in a row, these fans are going to go crazy. And they have a right to do so. It ain't like we construction workers or steel workers who got like real jobs to play basketball 2 days in a row. I said the most you're gonna play is 4 days in a week. Most of the time you play 3, but sometimes you might play 4. But if we keep alienating the fans when guys making 70, 80, $100 million and they're like, I'm gonna do load management. I'm saying, whoa, that's to me, that's a bigger problem for the fans going forward. That's just my personal opinion. Listen, I love today's game. I don't, it's really interesting when me and your dad say something. Anytime an old head says something, we hating on the young guys. Sometimes stuff can be true. They got some really great players today, but it's really just become a 3-point shooting contest. And what's amazing to me, we went out there with one leg, broken faces, cheap shoes, flying commercial. Now these guys make the most money, bless them. They got the best shoes. They got damn ice things, ice baths. They got hyperbaric chambers, and they're always hurt. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If y'all, come on, man, y'all got the best stuff ever. Like if you get hurt now, like in our day, if you got hurt, that's the stuff that could end your career. Now you're back in 6 months and quote unquote better. You know, you probably don't even know this. Cause me and your dad so old. Dude, my first 3 years in the NBA, I flew commercial. And it was crazy being in the airport at 5:30 in the morning trying to sleep after you had played the night before and got 2 hours sleep, fly half the day, then take a quick power nap and go to the gym and try to play basketball. I said, hey man, be appreciative. Play all the games. You know, Adam Silver, who's a great person, he's like, well, if you don't play 75 games, you can't win an award. A dude making $90 million don't give a damn about no awards. He's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You think a guy making that much money is like, yeah, I didn't win. I didn't make all NBA. I didn't get MVP. Like, yeah. But I made $75 million this year. So I just wish these guys would realize how lucky they are. I mean, they're so, man, we're so blessed to play sports. But these guys today, man, they're really lucky and blessed. I just hope they appreciate it.
What do you think about, I know you saw Anthony Edwards' comments, as great as a player he is, his comments about players in the 80s and 90s not being able to play today. And you name Pat Ewing, you name you name some pretty high level guys, but there are guys that were stars that would be absolute max players today. You think about a guy
I,
that you played with like Kevin Johnson, what would he be in today's game?
I would love to see Anthony Edwards chase Mark Jackson off 22 picks. Reggie Miller. Like, Reggie Miller, Rip Hamilton. I'm talking
Ray
some of the
Allen.
great Ray Allen, some of the greatest movers without the basketball. Like when you could actually set a pick without them calling it illegal. I would love to see, and Anthony Evans is a really good player, but I would love to have him chase Reggie Miller around all those picks and get hit by a serious pick. Man, I don't. I see, yo, anybody and I've never said the game is better. It was just different in our day. These guys, they don't want that physicality. They don't want that physicality. Because, like, well, first of all, listen, I'll tell you, anytime we played them damn Detroit Pistons, I used to call my family and say, hey, if I never see y'all again, I love y'all. But them boys are out there trying to hurt people. Them boys were flat out there trying to hurt people. And but it was a different, it's kind of like that in football. It was different playing football back in the day. Like I say, I never say it's better. It's just different. Like a quarterback can play an extra 5 to 7 years now because they don't take any physical contact. You get near a quarterback, they're gonna call a penalty. In the old day, they used to knock the hell out the quarterback, take him to the sideline, put that stuff on his nose to get back out there. Now, if you get a concussion, they're like, "We'll see you in a month." And hey, number one, I don't want players getting hurt, but for these guys to say, first of all, who's more athletic than Michael Jordan? Nobody. Nobody. Anthony Edwards is really a talented dude. To say he's more athletic than Michael Jordan, that's crazy. Scottie Pippen, ain't nobody more athletic than Scottie Pippen. Uh, like Joel Embiid is a heck of a player. You think he really want Patrick Ewing? Because Pat gonna run the floor. He gonna jump, shoot him in his eyes. He gonna play him aggressive and physical. I mean, to say guys in our day, I'm like, listen, Draymond Green's a really good player. They better not put that little man out there against me and Karl Malone. We gonna kill him. I like Draymond. You put him out there against me and Karl Malone or Kevin McHale, we gonna kill him. He too little. But like I say, and that's not a slight, that's just a fact. And I think he's a heck of a player. He's a nice kid and a really good player. But if you put that little man out there against me and Karl Malone, in the words of Shaquille O'Neal, barbecue chicken. Barbecue chicken. that little man out there on us.
That's a wrap for part 1 of our episode with Charles Barkley, y'all. Don't forget, part 2 is on the way. Be on the lookout for it. Also, shouts out to Underdog. Click the link in the description and they're matching a first time deposit of up to $1,000 and you can get a specialty pick. Use the promo code MARK, that's MARK. And lastly, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate y'all.